Nearly 2 decades after shocking Nithari killings, Surendra Kohli walked free Wednesday evening. Eyes on the crowd, greying hair visible. Flanked by police and lawyers, he stepped into freedom. The release closes a long, controversial chapter in one of India's most heinous cases. But questions linger over justice, accountability, and the victims left behind. The Nithari killings shocked the nation in December 2006 after skeletal remains of children were found in a drain behind businessman Moninder Singh Pandher's house in Noida's Nithari village. Surendra Kohli, Pandher's domestic help, was accused of kidnapping, raping and murdering several children between 2005 and 2007, leading to 13 separate prosecutions. In the remaining 12 cases, both Kohli and Pandher were acquitted in October 2023 and July 2025, as the court found the confessions and alleged recoveries unreliable, marred by procedural lapses. The court cited procedural lapses and gaps in evidence, raising questions over the handling of one of India's most notorious child murder cases.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट द्वारा कोहली को जो एक सजा के रूप में हमारे कारागार में वो दंड के रूप में यहाँ सजा काट रहा था, उसमें क्विटेशन पिटीशन के अंतर्गत उसको बरी कर दिया गया है और बरी के जो आदेश है वो हमें प्राप्त हो गया है.
Looking at the residential area that once stood at the center of the Nithari investigation, the house where Surendra Kohli worked as a house help for Moninder Singh Pandher. This is the same house which was the focal point. Back in 2006, this location became the focus of a massive police and CBI operation after skeletal remains and personal belongings of missing children were recovered from the drains and empty plot. Multiple FIRs were filed linking the disappearances to this house. Kohli was arrested from here and Pandher was taken into custody soon after. Over the next few years, both men were charged in several cases of abduction, murder and destruction of evidence connected to what came to be known as the Nithari killings.
The question still looms over the families of the victims. Who killed our children?
पंडेर को जमानत मिली, वही हमें दुख हुआ. इसलिए अगर वो दोषी नहीं, एक तो केस नहीं, पुलिस ने नहीं खोला, केस हमने खोला. 96 सिर हमने गिनती करके 49 थाने में दिए. अच्छा, ये सब अब कबूल किया पंडेर ने पुलिस वालों के सामने. पंडेर ने कबूल किया, गलती हुई, माफ़ करो. अच्छा, अब फिर कोहली दोषी नहीं, पंडेर दोषी नहीं. पंडेर दोषी नहीं है तो इतने साल जेल में क्यों पुलिस ने रखा? क्यों रखा भाई? जो जिसने वो बेचारा कुछ किया जैसा नहीं है तो उसको जेल में क्यों बगैर प्रूफ के जेल में क्यों रखा? तो जिसने जेल में डाला हो उसे फांसी होनी चाहिए.
19 years long after the horror and still no closure. How did grave procedural lapses find their way into case handling such heinous, jarring killings? The murders of missing minors in broad daylight and their bodies discovered in the drains, and how those lapses paved the way for the accused to walk free.
Overgrown. Now, this is the same Nithari house once occupied by Moninder Singh Pandher. This structure remains abandoned. Its charred walls, this dense overgrowth marking the spot from where police first recovered crucial evidence in the 2006 Nithari investigation. We'll also show you the drain from which the skeletal remains, the personal belongings, various body parts of the children that were missing from this village was found. This is the drain from where the police got their first evidence. Now this house has remained sealed and unused for years. This wall that you see here was once the gate.
The police enters the investigation, there is so much of already been messed up. And secondly, also forensics. We have been asking for it, and also there has been a lot of special requests from various kinds of quarters, but we don't have good effective forensics available within the vicinity of even our national capital region. So that's another thing. And also thirdly, that the human error, that a lot of it remains to be proven in the court in any case. But in this case, of course, a lot of it was proved, and even at some stage he was going to be hanged. So that's one part of the whole story. The other is also about the court's view matters a lot, depends on who's really delivering this judgment.
A curative petition is an extraordinary remedy filed when there's a violation of natural justice. Curative petitions can only be filed after the review remedy is exhausted. They apply when facts indicate serious injustice or errors that led to an unfair outcome.
Look, in our Supreme Court, there are three kinds of petitions which we file in Supreme Court. One is a special lip petition, which we famously called it as SLP. When the SLP is dismissed or not allowed, then we file a review petition. That is a very exceptional thing. Generally, review petitions are very exceptional. But curative is the most extraordinary, exceptional situation when the curative petition is filed. The literal meaning of curative is to cure. Cure what? The big question is what to cure. Cure the procedural lapse or some judicial impropriety which has not been somehow taken care in the SLP stage or in review stage. But then I am repeating, it's one of the most exceptional situations, very rare situations, when Supreme Court allows curative petition.
In a lot of these cases, family of victim always remains, one of the losers, because they always feel that it remained unresolved, they did not get the justice. And they also, in terms of emotional support, we don't have any system by which it is addressed, that how they are going through, what kind of emotional trauma that they are going through, financial support. There's a lot of announcement. Even in cases of acid victim, we have seen that, it takes about 8 to 10 years before they got even a small little support that they got. And even in this case, all the parents are feeling totally lost, and they felt so much of report was there. Initially, we were all involved when we went to the spot, and we did a lot of, help, but eventually people forget about all this and they just let them suffer.
A case spanning over 2 decades, where the accused was once sentenced to death, now stands overturned after grave procedural lapses decades later. For the victims' families who have never healed from the loss, this development tears open old wounds.
Nearly 2 decades after the Nithari killings sent shockwaves across India, the case has now reached its final closure. This Tuesday, on November 11th, 2025, Surinder Kohli walked officially free after the Supreme Court has set aside its final conviction in the infamous Nithari killings. With this order, every case in which he was once sentenced, including multiple death penalties, now stands overturned. The court reiterated that the evidence used earlier was inadmissible, recoveries were unreliable, and the prosecution failed to establish guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Surinder Kohli, who has spent nearly 19 years in jail, is now officially acquitted, where Moninder Singh Pandel also stands legally acquitted. This order now marks the end of all criminal proceedings against both the men.
What message does this outcome send, and what does it leave the families with? How long will procedural lapses continue to cloud the truth and compromise the verdict?